What do you start with? You start with the roots, your foundation, your roots. So what are your roots? What do you represent? And for me, my foundation are a few things. My background, where I'm from. So my background, where I'm from, my culture. So I grew up in Long Beach, California. I didn't have much. My parents sacrificed a whole lot. We lived in a household with like 15 people. Didn't even have plumbing. It was bad. It was bad. But my parents were rich in love. And the community, there was a lot of gangs. I'm not sure if you guys live in communities where there's a lot of gangs. I have cousins that are in gangs. I have a cousin that's in jail for life for attempted murder. These are the things that I grew up in. But it doesn't mean that you are less likely to succeed. It just makes you a stronger person. My culture, my parents are from Guam. Is anyone from Guam around here? Know what Guam is? Wow, one person.
Next to the Philippines.
Yeah, it's a really tiny island. It's like a speck on the globe. It's really small. I've never been there, but my parents were born there, but they reside now in Long Beach. So, and then my second thing is your foundation, your roots, is my family, and my friends. I can see there on the far right, my picture, my sister Chaz, my dad Val, my mom Joe. My brother's missing this picture. But you have to have, this is my dream team. You guys have to form your own dream team, your own supporting cast. Because when times get rough, you're going to have to go to those people for support. And my first exposure to kind of empathetic, compassionate care came from my parents. My parents, we didn't have much at all, but they had an open door policy. I had a lot of friends in the community that came from broken homes. I had, for example, my friend Wesley stayed with us for 5 years. His dad was in jail, his mom was a crack addict. So my parents basically treated him like his own son. He fed him, we clothed him, we gave him a shelter. My dad taught him how to play basketball. He ended up playing basketball for Missouri. So I got that first exposure to compassionate care. Even though we didn't have much, we still had open hearts. And for me, one of my foundations is sports. Who plays sports around here? Oh, yeah, right? Now, you can talk about a lot of things that sports brings, right? We got teamwork, we got leadership, we got work ethic, all that good stuff. But for me, growing up, I would say in the hood, it was actually protection for us. We played sports year-round. And so it didn't give us the opportunity for us to run the street to get into trouble. For an example, my cousins lived in the same house, they didn't play sports, we all joined gangs. And so that's me as a little baller right there. Pretty good. If I didn't have that shirt on, you would see my guns. But. All right, so now we have your roots established. The next thing we need to do is you gotta watch my mango tree grow, right? So it needs something, right? It needs water, it needs some kind of nutrient. So your nutrient is going to be your driving force, whatever feeds your plant. For me, it would be my mango tree. So what inspires you? You know, what's your passion? What are you passionate about? Why do you live for today? There's got to be something that you guys are inspiring you. What's your purpose here on this planet? What's your purpose here in CampMed? You got to think about these things. These things are really important. At the end of the day, you got to also ask, what do you represent? For me, if they ask me, what do I represent my family, I represent my culture. Those are things I represent. And what inspires me, being here, inspiring you guys, hoping that I can help out the next generation. So I've been through a lot of stuff, ups and downs, and I don't want you guys to go through the same things. So they can learn from my mistakes. That's why I'm here, I guess. And one of the things that you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. You have to have an end goal where you want to be, right? So when I graduated, when I was at community college, I didn't know how to be a doctor. I liked science, and I kind of wanted to go that route. I'm like, oh, sure, I'll be a doctor. It's cool. But then I met two of my really good friends. Our friend Mohammed, he's now a general surgeon on the East Coast, and my friend Amir, he's now in medical school in St. Louis. And so I didn't know how to be a doctor, but they did. My friend Mohammed, his uncle was a doctor. My friend Amir, his dad was a doctor, so they knew how to get there. So I basically piggybacked on them and followed them along the ride. And we kind of used this book. You guys, anyone heard of this book, The Pack?
Yeah.
So it's a very motivational book. We actually use this as our motivation to kind of form this pack, this strong bond together that whatever happens throughout our journey, we're going to become doctors. And so this book describes 3 young men. If you haven't read this book, make sure you read it. 3 young men who came from basically the slums and basically overcame everything and became doctors. So this is what we used. Okay, so where are we at now? We have our roots, right? And then we're adding nutrients, we have our water. Now, we're going to start growing our tree, right? So, out of the earth, we have what? The core, right? The trunk of the tree. My trunk is going to be huge, right? I want a big old trunk. All right, so what does your trunk represent? Is your education. Plain and simple, education, education, education. And for you non-readers, you gotta read. Reading. I hated reading, but I regret it because, well, I'll tell you later, but it was bad. But yeah, education, that's why you guys are in school. Quick story about that is when I was living in Long Beach, I'll go to school, just go to school, and then copy some homework, and then bounce, talk to all the girls, you know, and do my thing, and then just leave, right? But then we actually got evicted from my house in Long Beach and moved to Orange County, and that's when I realized the big difference in education is that education in Orange County where I was living is a privilege. And I was like, and I started thinking, you know, why is my family so much poorer than everyone else? Why does everyone else seem so happy? Why is everyone driving so many nice cars? I had these buckets, we had nothing. I was so nervous to get dropped off away from school. I told my grandpa to drop me off a block away just because I was so scared and so embarrassed for my car. So that's when I actually started noticing little things with my neighbors is that, you know, maybe it's kind of silly, but around the license plates they have alumni from UCLA, from USC. I started noticing that and then it clicked. I was like, every household is headed by a college graduate. My parents didn't go to college. So that was the biggest difference. So from that point on, I was like, you know what, I have to educate myself. Because once you educate yourself, you make better decisions in life. A couple things under that is things that are controllable. And I didn't realize this until later in life, so I'll give you the scoop now. So what you can control is how you feel, right? You can control how you feel. You can control being positive, right? Can you control what someone else thinks about you? All right. So why bother about it? Why worry about it? If you can't control how they think about you, if they're saying so many negative things about you, why worry about it? Push that to the side. You know where you need to. You know where you want to go. You know you want to go to college. You know you want to be successful. Worry about that. Be on the grind, right? A quick story about that is there's a test called the MCAT. And I know a lot of the medical students know about this and doctors. I took, the MCAT is the exam to get into medical school. It's similar to the SAT getting into high school, right? So I took the exam not once, not twice, but 3 times. And after the first time, I was like, you know what? I didn't prepare myself. I should have done a lot better. I should have, stopped playing basketball and hit the books a little more. After the second time, I was like, you know what? I did study, but I still wasn't prepared enough. So my brother actually came up to me and was like, hey, B, what do you think about doing something else? And I stepped back and was like, because I didn't have a plan B. I only had a plan A. And so for him to say that, like, he wasn't saying it from a bad perspective. He just was looking out for me. But for him to say that, I had no control of him saying that to me. But I had control how I reacted. I used that as a positive kind of motivation for me to do better on the next time. And the third time I took the MCAT, I got a lot better. Mentors. Find a mentor. And that's one thing CampMed does. It supplies you guys with mentors. Use them, all right? Please use them. And find something special in those mentors. Something you want to be like and want to aspire to be. Grab hold of that and follow them. They've been through all of the rough roads, so they'll prevent you from going through those. All right, help. Who thinks it's a weakness to ask for help? Is anyone? Right, that's good. I actually learned the hard way. I thought I can do everything on my own without any help, but that was not the case. It's actually a strength, and it's strength to ask for wisdom. If you ask for wisdom, you know you need help, because along this process, you can't do it by yourself, and that's basically the bottom line. Who watched the Super Bowl last year? All right, any 49ers fans? Just keep your hand down. I'm sorry. I wanted them to win too, but so do you know the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to bring it up. But they weren't picked as the favorites to win the whole thing. And so they asked them, like, what kind of motivated you guys? What inspired you guys? And basically the coach said that they got a letter from one of their probably #1 fan named Matthew Jeffers. Now Matthew Jeffers is a senior at Tulsa University. And he wrote to the coach and said, you know what, I've been through so many things. Before the age of 12, I had over 20 surgeries. I've been through everything. My mom recently got diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer. And for him, the one message he wanted to say to the coach and to the team is that he said, the only disability is a bad attitude. The only disability is a bad attitude. Now, how strong is that statement? Coming from someone that's been through so many medical complications and might even not even be here in life, but is appreciating what he's here right now. And that's big, right? Okay. So I have my trunk. So we got roots. I'm feeding this bad boy. I'm giving this some Gatorade too. We got a trunk. Now we gotta see this puppy grow, right? This thing's gonna be a massive tree. I want my tree to be huge, right? So we have to go through the leaves, the branches, all that good stuff. Now the first part of growing a tree, you have to have some hard work, all right? Does success happen overnight? Nah, right, it doesn't happen overnight. So get that out of your mind. It's gonna take a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding for you to be successful. I think it's made that way because once you achieve your goal, it makes it that much more satisfying. Because if things happen overnight, everyone will do that, right? No one wants the easy way out. All right. Quickest out about working hard is that, as you can see, I'm not a very tall guy. I think a lot of you guys are probably taller than me. But I had a dream of becoming a Division I basketball player. And I had the opportunity to actually try out for the Eastside basketball team. So I took it upon myself to work maybe 3 times as hard as anyone else. So I would wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, go to the gym from 5 to 7 every day just to train. And eventually I made the team. A funny story about that is just kind of a tangent. But we were playing Stanford, and we were warming up. I was warming up, doing my thing, doing reverse dunks and stuff.